Rocky slumped on the couch, a half-eaten bag of chips precariously balanced on his stomach. His eyes, slightly red, were glued to the flickering TV screen. A nature documentary about migrating wildebeest played, but Rocky wasn't paying attention. He was lost in thought, contemplating the vast emptiness of his existence, specifically the emptiness of his sneaker collection.
Dude, these are fire.
Jody, his equally laid-back companion, emerged from the kitchen, a cloud of smoke trailing behind her. She held a freshly baked batch of brownies, still warm from the oven. She plopped down next to Rocky. Crumbs cascaded from the couch onto the already stained carpet. Neither of them seemed to notice.
You still thinking about those galactic gators?
She asked, referring to the limited edition sneakers they'd been drooling over online. Rocky nodded slowly, his eyes glazed over with longing. He imagined himself strutting down the street, the envy of every passerby.
Yeah, man, those kicks are like a spiritual experience, you know? They'd complete me.
Jody chuckled, taking another bite of her brownie.
Dude, you're already complete. Just like really, really stoned.
But seriously, Rocky continued, a spark of determination igniting in his eyes.
We gotta get those shoes. It's our destiny.
Jody, ever the agreeable companion, shrugged.
All right, fine, but we're stopping for tacos on the way back.
This was non-negotiable. They launched into a meticulous planning session, which mostly consisted of staring at the ceiling and giggling. The logistics of their journey were complex. First, they needed to locate their car keys, a daunting task in itself. Then they had to figure out where the sneaker store even was.
I think I saw a map somewhere.
Rocky mumbled, rummaging through a pile of laundry. He unearthed a crumpled piece of paper covered in doodles and suspicious burn marks.
This is it,
he exclaimed triumphantly. Jody peered at the map skeptically.
Are you sure that's not a drawing of a unicorn fighting a robot?
After much deliberation, which involved spinning a bottle and consulting a magic 8-ball, they finally decided on a route. It was a risky plan involving multiple left turns and a possible encounter with a roundabout. But they were ready to face the challenge, or at least as ready as two stoned individuals could be. The drive to the sneaker store was an experience in itself. Every traffic light seemed to last an eternity. Every passing car was a potential threat. Rocky gripped the steering wheel, his knuckles white.
Dude, I think that pigeon is following us,
he whispered, eyes wide with paranoia. Jody, meanwhile, was engrossed in a conversation with a bag of Cheetos.
Do you think Cheetos have feelings? Like, what if they don't want to be eaten?
Rocky, momentarily distracted from his pigeon surveillance, pondered this profound question. The car swerved slightly as Rocky dodged an imaginary squirrel.
Whoa, close call,
he muttered, wiping a bead of sweat from his brow. Jody, oblivious, continued her Cheeto interrogation.
Maybe we should just leave them on the dashboard as an offering to the sun god. Good idea. He probably likes Cheetos.
They finally arrived at the mall, parking the car haphazardly across two spaces. The journey had taken its toll. They were both slightly disoriented and significantly more hungry. The quest for sneakers had been momentarily forgotten in favor of a more pressing need, finding the food court. The line for the sneaker store snaked through the mall, a long, impatient serpent of hype beasts and sneakerheads. Rocky and Jody surveyed the situation, a mix of awe and dread washing over them. Jody launched into her performance, a series of jerky movements and dramatic poses that resembled a seizure more than a dance. The crowd, initially amused, quickly grew annoyed. Security guards began to approach, their expressions grim. Rocky's attempt to slip past the chaos went unnoticed, swallowed by the throng of onlookers. Their plan had backfired spectacularly. S1. Media, people looking frustrated in line, a person attempting to sneak past crowd, urban line chaos with onlookers. Don't worry, I'll distract them with my interpretive dance and you sneak in and grab the shoes. Are you sure that's going to work? Narrator. Media, person whispering in crowded place, people talking quietly in busy area. Rocky whispered, his voice barely audible above the buzz of the crowd. Jody, ever the optimist, had a plan. S1 Media, optimistic person in crowded place, person looking determined in public space. Dude, that's a lot of people. Dejected and defeated, Rocky and Jody retreated to a nearby bench.
Well, that didn't go as planned.
Rocky sighed, burying his face in his hands. Jody rummaged through her purse, a determined look on her face.
Don't worry, I have a backup plan.
They each popped a Xanax, hoping to calm their frayed nerves. The effect was immediate and profound. A wave of tranquility washed over them, erasing all worries and anxieties. The world seemed brighter, the air sweeter, the mall music suddenly bearable. They giggled uncontrollably, their earlier disappointment fading into a hazy oblivion.
Dude, I think I'm floating. Me too. I think I'm a butterfly.
They spent the next hour in a blissful stupor, watching the world go by in slow motion. The sneaker quest was a distant memory, replaced by a profound appreciation for the simple things in life, like the gentle hum of the air conditioning and the rhythmic squeak of passing sneakers. The Xanax haze eventually lifted, leaving them with a vague sense of unease. They remembered the sneakers, the line was gone, the store was nearly empty. Dread filled them as they approached the counter.
Are there any galactic gators left?
Rocky asked, his voice trembling. The sales clerk chuckled.
Sold out hours ago, dude.
Crushed, they stumbled out of the store. Just as despair threatened to consume them, a figure emerged from the shadows. A kind-looking stranger, wearing a tie-dye shirt and a knowing smile.
I overheard you talking about the gators. I have an extra pair and some celebratory herbs.
Overwhelmed with joy and disbelief, they accepted the gifts. Back at their apartment, they admired the sneakers, pristine and perfect. As Rocky reached for his bong to celebrate, he knocked it over, spilling bong water all over the galactic gators. They stared at the soaked sneakers, then at each other, and burst into laughter. Their quest had been a disaster, but they had each other, and that's all that mattered. Their bond, forged in weed, smoke, and misadventure, was stronger than ever.